Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for Soul School tonight. Class is in session, and as you might see on the screen, we have two well-qualified substitute teachers tonight.
That's very kind. We can't stand up to Jeff. That's
should have got a ruler.
Oh yeah, you love using that ruler. I know. I know. That's that parochial school thing catching up with you after all these years. Yeah, Jeff had a prior commitment, and he's like, I'm so sorry, and I said, you seem to forget how many times you've covered for me. Right. He just forgets that he's filled in and taken care of the show for me, that I didn't even have to think about it, especially toward the end of my mom's life.
Right.
And so I'm very grateful to him, and I love him very much. But tonight, something just clicked immediately. I just knew to call you. For those of my viewers that don't know you, this is Amy and Shawn Moore, two of the kindest, most wonderful, most amazing people I've ever had the privilege and honor to know and to call my close, dear friends. And I love the poster in the ma'am.
Of course, yeah. Right.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love it. I have a blow up green alien doll. Oh, it's not that kind of show, though. It's not that kind of show.
Okay. Well, we had the big alien last time we were on, but it didn't make the move.
Yeah, it's somewhere in Ohio.
Yeah, it's not with us anymore.
Oh, that's okay. If it's really an alien, it'll find its way to you.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, it's I just knew immediately. I've been wanting to have you on one or the other of the shows because you both fit so perfectly into both. But I really thought Soul School would be the best fit for tonight. Hold on, let me look at what's your t-shirt say, Amy?
Mine is the Savannah, because that's all I own, or Savannah and Savannah Bananas shirts. That's all I own anymore.
I've got some really great. Okay, when you guys come up to visit me,
yes,
you and I are going shopping in my clothes racks.
Okay.
Because I've got shirts for you.
Okay.
I do. You're all set. I can't leave my glasses on long because I'm having one hot flash after another tonight, and I steam my glasses up so badly that I can't see through them. And I have my tissues. One of the medications that I'm on is messes with my hormones deliberately. That's, what it does is to suppress the hormones, because that's what feeds cancer.
Exactly.
And so I had to start that before I actually started the chemotherapy. And I really did think about 10 years ago, I was all done with the hot flashes. It wasn't happening anymore. It was, great. But apparently we have to revisit them.
I'm so sorry.
I know. And
I feel your pain. I do.
I know you do. And yet, well, we talk every day.
Yeah.
Are you at 150 degrees right now? Because Vesuvius is erupting in my chest. Thank you very much. But one of the things, last week, I had a really great engagement with Jeff about the power of friendship. And so I thought, in keeping with that theme, it would be so wonderful to have you both on. And I think, no, it wasn't. The last time we were together was in Ohio.
Yeah, it was like a year and a half ago.
Right.
Yeah, we did a World Awakening with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was in February. I want to say February.
No.
2023. Yeah.
February or November in the fall.
No, you came. I believe you came to the event that we did in April. Well, Amy, you couldn't come. Shawn, you came.
Right.
Oh, Julie and I.
Yeah.
Yeah, you and Julie came,
Yeah.
and she brought cream puffs.
Yes.
Oh, wait.
Right. Yeah.
Julie. Carol Burnett.
Julie, thank you.
She's watching.
Thank you for the cream puffs so
That's
much.
what, yeah. She was sick, and Julie and I came up.
Yeah. Right.
Before we saw you, Tenny saw us. And
Yeah.
he went.
He did a double take.
He's like, well, wait, that's not Amy. And
Right. And Julie and I kind of, we're like sisters.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Tenny was a little confused, but that's okay.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you probably had a moment of panic, like, no! How could this happen? They're so perfect together. Didn't Andrea just remarry them the year before?
Right, exactly.
God.
Oh,
Well,
boy.
that was one of the things that I wanted to talk about tonight because, we're all very aware of the power of energy. And when we were in Savannah the year before, the two of you had asked me to perform a marriage or a renewal of vows.
Right.
And we found the most beautiful park in Savannah.
Telfair Square.
Yep.
Yes, yes. And Erin filmed it for us. And then we found out after that from the moment that I connected, everything went kind of completely, it was fine before and it was fine after, but from the moment that I connected to do the vows, the screen just went.
It was like slow motion. The whole thing, it was just very strange.
It was nuts. It was. So I'm sorry that you don't have an actual film of your vows.
It's there. It just takes a real long time to watch it.
Well, it was some kind of an energetic surge or something. And I think what the thing was that we left 3D. All of us. All of us did. And so it was profound for me. And my dad was there, and Peanut Buttercup, who's sound asleep, she was there.
Right.
We got some wonderful still shots together after. But that was a really remarkable event.
Yeah.
And
thank you so much again for doing that for us.
Oh,
it meant the world to us.
It meant, I think in some ways it meant more to me. In some strange way, energetically, I feel like I married both of you. I mean, really, it just
bond us.
We were. It brought us even closer.
Right.
And then we went out and had the most fabulous lunch, and it was a great day. It was a really great day. So what I wanted to talk about, life is strange, life is weird, life changes quickly. And a year ago, we were together in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
Yes.
At the farmhouse.
Yep.
Right.
Over
almost exactly the day, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was in October though. Yeah, but yeah, it was.
No, it's right. Yeah. It was after Halloween.
Julie could tell us because she couldn't come and she was upset.
Yeah.
She was on a vacation that she had already planned, and then she couldn't come. Then she was mad and not at us.
Almost by the day.
Yeah. And 7 years ago, we met in Mackinac. Almost exactly 7 years ago, we met in Mackinac.
Yeah.
So, 'tis the season.
Yeah, I know. It was amazing. And you told me afterwards that you felt like you made that trip just because you were supposed to meet John Tenney and you were supposed to meet me. Yeah.
Yep.
And that was remarkable. That was a Strange Escapes event with Amy and Adam Berry. And what a beautiful place. And when we were down, were you with me when the vessel passed overhead? Did you see that you could see right through it? You could literally see the stars on the other side of it. It was translucent. Oh my God. That was one of my favorite. And then did you see the big orange ball?
Yes, we saw the big orange ball.
Yeah. Okay. So did you hear me say that ain't no fucking lighthouse? Yeah.
We were with you with the first group, and then nobody wanted to leave. And then the second group came down. We're like, we ain't fucking leaving.
We all just kind of stayed.
Everybody just stayed.
We were standing next to Tenny the whole time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and he's conjuring stuff up out of Lake Huron, and it's like, oh my God! I mean, luminescent light coming up from the bottom of the lake, and he's got that going on from below, and I'm all focused on above. And yeah, there were a lot of people. There are a lot of people cried that night.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Very emotional time.
Yeah, it was. It really was. It was a phenomenal event. One of my absolute favorites because, the sky. I mean, we could see the whole Milky Way. I mean, it was.
Oh, I know.
It was so clear that night.
It was.
Oh God, it was so perfect. I didn't want that night to end. I didn't. But we've had a history. We're building our history together.
Absolutely.
And that's I think one of the most, beautiful things about friendship, but it really does feel, I think a real true friendship feels like family.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you meet somebody and you've known them forever.
Forever.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Right.
And it is one of the best reasons for living.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It truly is.
Mm-hmm.
So, talk about your experience of the farmhouse, and I'm going to just let our viewers know, this has been a very drama-filled week. And I'm not answering any questions. I'm out of the loop. I don't know all the details about what's happening there with the current owner. But that's now. Let's go back.
We can talk about a year ago before
there
all
seems
this.
like there's drama in this whole community for a freaking year, and it's getting to the point like enough is enough.
I know.
It's crazy.
Anyway,
but our experience at the farmhouse was, well, I think everybody has a very unique experience there.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yes.
But because you were there,
right,
and you introduced us to the house, it made the world of difference. I felt completely comfortable in that house.
Yes, it is nothing like anything anyone would have expected per se.
Right.
We walked in that first room and everybody, half of us felt the entire room goes, let me get over here. You
just felt it vibrate.
The vibration, the energy.
In a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just feel it.
Mm-hmm. The floors felt like they moved.
The floor moved in the bathroom on me. As honest to God as I was. You told me, and I didn't even think about it. And I'm sitting there, and the whole floor goes. It
was crazy. I sat in the dining room where the dining room table is.
Yes.
After you and Aaron
we were all sitting there talking while the guests were doing. Yeah.
And the boys were downstairs, and the girls that were with us were upstairs, and I just sat there in that room by myself. I don't know how many times I thought somebody was coming through like the living area back into the dining area, like one of the group. Mm-hmm. We had a very small group, but it wasn't.
And I thought
it was just somebody coming to check me out, coming to see what I was doing.
When I was in the basement with Mike and Micah doing our little thing, I totally could have. Amy was walking all through the top, but she wasn't. She was sitting constant where you were talking with her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the girls in the library had some experiences, and I think
they had upstairs.
Michelle and Barb had experiences up in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody had a very positive experience there.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh well, they knew to behave.
Right.
Friends.
And the outside is different than the inside, and I don't know how to explain it. It's just Erin told me. I know she says she's going to be busy tonight. She's going to watch this on the replay, but as you have told me, and Erin told us. A week before, a few days, what's your intent? State your intent to yourself. Mm-hmm. And when you walk in. And that was, honestly, I didn't even care about the farmhouse that night as much as I wanted to go there. It was all about outside, up in the woods, whatever. And I just said, be known to me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that just the outside was totally different than the inside. And I think everybody had a positive experience.
I think so, yeah.
And it was so good to have what you did made time to be with Amy and I and Aaron that first time. It was a world to us for doing that. So thank you again.
And we're glad we got to. It was the only time we've been there. Probably
and
the only time we're ever going to be there. So I'm glad it was with you.
Yeah, it needed to be. And it was my pleasure to introduce you to the house and to the spirits, those that dwell there. I can't say those that live there, perhaps they're living in a different sense that we're not aware of.
Right.
But they're not they cohabitate, but it's in multiple dimensions of activity. Did you ever see when I did a show with the Ghost Brothers a couple of years ago there?
We were talking about that the other day. Yeah, because we just saw them the other night.
We just did the thing with the Ghost Brothers down at the Savannah Theater. In that picture you showed us.
Yes.
You could see through you practically. It was crazy.
Yeah, it kind of freaked the guys out a little bit too.
Yeah.
They didn't see it when it happened.
Right.
While they were actually in the room with me.
Right.
They didn't see it when it happened. Right. It was the producers that showed them the footage of that, those few minutes around the table and me reaching out and making actual physical contact with some being, and I don't know what or who at the head of the table. All I said, if I recall during the show, all I said was, I sense a presence here. And I reached out, and meanwhile, over my shoulder, I felt something else. And if you look at the screenshot, I should find that and put that back up for people to see.
You should, absolutely.
See, a being standing over in the two doors that were open to the library, and there was a shadow figure standing, kind of peering out the door. And there were vessels around me, little tiny, like crystalline light vessels of light around me. And from my shoulder all the way down to my hand, after I made contact with whatever I did, my whole arm disappeared. You could just see right through me and see the woodwork of the corner cupboard right through me, and you could see how altering the dimension even shifted the light. The light was even different.
It was like refracted somehow. Yeah.
Yeah. It was bizarre, but
the farmhouse is totally unique. Somehow scientifically
there's something.
There is something, it's not all the hubbub, and there is something there that we've never felt at any place in all these years of doing it, and all the places we've been to, the good, the bad, whatever, that there was something totally unique to that place. And you could feel it when you walked in.
Yeah, it is. It's really magical. But
and it made for an enjoyment it made for an enjoyable investigation that we didn't. It's just experiencing something different.
And a lot of it was more of a personal experience. We didn't use a lot of equipment or anything.
No, we didn't. We left the gizmos and gadgets to the side.
And we just tried to connect with the place, So
and each one of us, we'd walk by and say, "Oh, I felt this. I saw this. I felt this. I saw this." Did you? It was like, nope. And it's like,
right.
Yeah.
We find that lately, not that we've done as much since we've moved, but we're hoping to get more into it again. We're using less equipment.
Yeah.
We have cases and cases, but we don't depend on a whole lot of it anymore.
Well, I think that paranormal investigators eventually come to the conclusion that they're their own best sensory
exactly.
Right. We've had a bunch because we'd help host so many events and to pass out to people and blah blah.
Right.
But and we were just talking the other night with friends of ours at the theater. We just, in fact, what's it called?
The Holiday
House. We just rented a place up in South Carolina. It's 3 hours away, called the Holiday House. It's an abandoned.
Used to be a funeral home and a few other things.
And I think right now, her and I are the only ones going to go.
No, Courtney just chimed in. They're going.
So we're gonna have 4, but we're gonna go. I want to say totally old school, and I know that's you and I. We've all been talking about something. If you want to, I don't use dowsing rods, but I just want like a flashlight, a recorder, deck of cards, just a compass. Bringing my compass back out,
right?
Just old school, Hans Holzer,
type of
Yeah, it's just I don't know. just to give it a try instead of all these things that bells and whistles and, you know.
I know. Well, sometimes we focus.
Okay, Julie. I guess Julie's going to come down now too. So.
Julie, I want to go. I knew she'd say that. You have to move down here, Jules.
I'm so glad. Oh God, I wish you could pick me up on the way, but it's like way out of your way to come.
No, there's in Ohio straight down to Atlanta, and she can just come right over this way. And there we go. It's a 6.
Would be wonderful. I miss you so much.
No, we miss you too.
It's I like. Okay, none of these things existed when I grew up at that farm.
Right.
Cell phones didn't exist. Microwaves didn't exist. Dishwashers didn't exist.
Be nice.
Yeah. And I think
not that much older than we are.
And so, I mean, yeah, we had a rotary phone mounted on the kitchen wall.
The party line.
The party line. Yeah, I remember party lines too.
It was when we first moved in. Yeah. They, came into the 20th century not long after we moved into the house. Either that or whoever was on the other end of the line got really sick of 5 little girls calling all their friends all the time. So they never used their phones. But it was, it was a time where we only had our own sensory perceptions to rely upon.
Right.
And I think it would have been, had any of this equipment existed back in, 50 plus years ago, it might have been more validating because when you only have yourself to rely on, you question your own perceptions.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Am I crazy?
Yeah. Did I just see that?
Right.
Did you just see that? No, I mean, it was bizarre. There were times where I'd walk up to my mom and say, something like, I have to, I need something for school or something. And she would start to, and it would be summer, getting ready to go back to school. And when she started talking to me, steam would come out of her mouth. So there was a spirit that was right next to her that was so cold that the warm breath really showed as it came out of her mouth, but it didn't when I was talking to her.
Okay. Right.
And so, you have to question yourself if you're a rational person. Am I seeing this? Is this real? What's the reason for it? Where's it coming from? Why doesn't mom realize it's happening?
Right.
And all these series of questions just kind of tumble through your consciousness within a matter of moments.
I'm sure.
So it was a very enlightening, awakening way to grow up. But it was also really unnerving. If I'd had a K2 meter, I could have grabbed it and turned it on and say, Mom, look, all the lights are on. You got a ghost.
It's a ghost.
Yeah.
It's not bad wiring.
Yeah, it was an amazing. The thing that I enjoyed most was sharing it with you. That was, you were 2 of the people it was most important that you go and you see it. Greta's been there, Chip's been there, the 2 of you, Erin has been there, and spent a great deal of time at the house. And it changed her life. It absolutely changed her life. It changed the way she thinks about absolutely everything.
Right.
And it expanded her consciousness in innumerable ways. And she was just starting to kind of dive into the field and learn a lot.
Right. She hasn't really been in the field all that long.
No. Well, she'd been an energy worker for a very long time, but she just always did it very privately, very quietly.
Right.
Didn't want anybody to say, oh, she's one of those woo-woo people.
Weirdos.
Right.
Now everybody knows she's one of those woo-woo people,
And she's proud of it, and she should be. Yes.
And she should be. And she's in very good company. Very good company. Yep. So I'm really glad that we had that experience. And one of the things that I wanted to let our viewers know tonight is that I'm anticipating getting through this.
Yes.
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 Because we have plans and we have things to do. And now that you've moved from Ohio to Savannah, and now you have access to this incredible theater. I would like for us to work with Greta, who's so good at this stuff, and put together our own event for the spring, because it's only about a 5-hour drive for me. She could just pick me up on the way and we could go down there, and it will be my re-entry into my my paranormal world instead of living in isolation here with the puppies and the sister and the kitty that ignores me unless she needs something.
Because she's a cat.
You would know.
Yeah, I know.
You would know.
Yeah.
So why don't you, in advance of us pulling this fantastic event together, and we have to get Tenny to come down.
Yes, please.
If you can.
Yes.
It just wouldn't be the same without him.
Well, especially if we do what we have been talking about doing, which is talking about theory and talking about intent and talking about all these different aspects.
Things that have fallen to the wayside for the last
and other paracons.
15 years, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I understand people have to sell their books, obviously, and people have to sell their shows when there were shows. Now there's fewer. But we got away from really trying to dig deeper into why, what's going on, the understanding of it.
Yes.
So I just think it would be wonderful if we could put together a panel of people and be able to do that.
Well, God knows between us, we know them all.
Right.
So all we have to do is just pick and choose and just tell Greta, start making phone calls and get this all lined up, because she will. She's like, queen of organization. And I'll tell you, when you were explaining to me some of the history of this theater, why don't you share that? Because some of the people that are watching this show tonight or will watch it and are going to be very interested in coming and being part of this paranormal festivus.
Festivus or something.
Well, it is the oldest continually operating theater in the United States. I can't remember. It was 1818 it was originally built.
Right.
There were several fires, but I think there were 3 major ones. Courtney is at the theater tonight, so she's not watching. She can't correct me. But several people have perished, due to those fires.
Due to the gas lamps and the curtains have come down. Some of the band or the orchestra
pit collapsed during one.
There. The only standing structure from the original theater is the back.
It's the back wall,
the brick wall,
like behind the stage. The rest of it has had to be rebuilt over the years.
And the history of Savannah. I mean, literally, you're walking across cemeteries on every square. The Colonial Cemetery at one point, when you
Colonial
get there,
Park Cemetery is
in the back of Drayton. You go a block or two, and it's Colonial Cemetery. That cemetery came up and almost was butting up to the theater, really close. So, Lord knows
before they developed
what is in there.
Yeah, over those graves.
But it's a beautiful old theater.
It is.
And
they still do live performances. Yep. That's what they do. They don't run movies. They do live performances. So that energy is constantly being re-energized there. It's constantly being reintroduced, which is kind of cool.
We just went 3 times in like a month and a half to an improv show called Ghosted.
Right.
And
Ghosted
it was
Savannah,
hysterical because they came out and mimicked. The first night they didn't, and I think they caught on. So the extra performances, they mimic ghost investigators,
right? Like a ghost tour.
Walking through the theater with the flashlights, and they have an actor of. It was really funny.
Yeah, it's really funny. Yeah. So hopefully they'll come back and do
more. And we've investigated. I mean, when we vacationed here, we investigated there a couple times.
Probably 3.
Yeah, and the Moon River Brewery, but that's closed
gone.
down. The same company that had the theater had the Moon River Brewery, but that's closed.
The brewery actually closed.
And now, since the last 8 months, the owners or who the investigators have asked, they know our history and our background, have asked us multiple times just to help out.
Yeah.
Which is fun, you know.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
People that are seasoned to let them do it, but
We like the
people that
newbies
never have experienced it. It's great
to kind of teach them
how to do it.
Yeah, and give
But
them
it's
that
fun.
experience. And they all have experiences. Everybody has an experience.
And the wild thing was, out of, I don't know, 7 or 8 times we've helped in the last 6 months, one night there were 3 girls 20 minutes away from us in Ohio.
Yeah.
After we moved down.
Yeah.
Another night there was another a group, 20 minutes north of where we lived in Ohio.
Yeah.
And like 3 nights there were people literally
like
within
just
a
a
half an hour
connection.
from,
Yeah. That were vacationing from Ohio and came
Which
to
is
the
fun.
theater. So
Funny.
it was neat.
Well, I really do believe that we're drawn to certain places, and
Absolutely.
that nothing happens accidentally. That it's all just an energetic draw, and I'm really, really looking forward to to not just what we'll do. Oh, we got to get Zaffis too. He'll come. He'll
that would be great.
absolutely say yes.
I don't think we've ever met John.
Just,
Oh my God.
just
I think we've seen him
in passing
right,
through, like, hello, how are you? And that we've
Yeah.
never sat down and
We've never
formally
talked to him.
have been introduced or talked to him.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's-
he's scary.
Well, the stories you guys tell me, it's
Right,
like, maybe
right.
not.
Yeah, no, he would love it, and he will love the two of you. And he brings such a wealth of, there's just nothing you can't ask him.
Right.
Exactly.
That's a
Right.
double negative. But I have a degree in this life, so I can screw with it all I want.
But that's kind of like when we talked. It's a change in direction. Not we're going to recreate the wheel,
Right.
but let's just get away. And again, I have no issue with content creators and trying to get your YouTube channel up to 3 million people. And okay, I get all that, and I don't want to just tune in and watch another thing that I could have watched on TV. Let's talk about all the other.
Right.
How did John do it? Talk Tenny when he
Right. Some of the most
things
fascinating
that-
conversations we've had with Tenny is talking about how he used to invest.
Yeah, and it's like I never would have thought of
Right.
that. And it's like, okay, and that's why, like I said, this funeral home in a couple of weeks when we go, we're just gonna I'll take a couple of the stuff, the gadgets with us, but we're just gonna walk through and just do it like you talked about. We don't have a lot, just ourselves, and can you turn a flashlight on? Can you
Right.
Can you knock on a wall? We might not have anything. Who knows? But you know how that goes. But
Well, I generally, before I go into any place, number one, I declare my intention.
Right.
right.
Number two, I ask permission.
Right.
I acknowledge the spirits, let them know that I'm aware that it was their place first,
Right.
that we are, the visitors. We don't mean to be perceived as intruders.
Right.
We just want to connect. We just want to communicate. And that soft, gentle, kind, accepting, and that kind of reverence for spirit is what opens that door wide open. It's wide open.
When we go around, we still knock on the doors before we enter. Excuse me.
We always introduce ourselves.
Can we come in
always
and talk?
say thank you for letting us, share your space, blah, blah, blah. But we learned that
from you. Yeah.
from you.
It's
You did.
their house. It's their
you just learned
property.
that.
It's we're just here as
It's
guests.
their home.
Right. Yeah.
So-
And polite matters, especially with people that were earthbound 200 years ago.
Sure.
Oh, really? Yeah.
If you can try to put yourself in the headspace of how people interacted then, and it was all very proper, and it was all very polite, and it was all very, not like not like how we are with each other here. Hey, I'm home, bash right through the front door, and yeah, that's how I am with my friends. If any of my friends ever come to visit and they don't walk in the door without knocking, I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you? You knew I was waiting for you. Just walk in, come in the house. But I won't do that it when
Right.
I'm out with other people at a new location. I also think, I'm sure that I've mentioned to you that I don't really investigate per se.
Right. Exactly.
Because for me, it's like I'm looking to validate the existence of someone who I already know is there, something that I already know exists. I often get so much more pleasure from helping others discover what is so magical and so otherworldly about a place. And honestly, there are places that I've been. Sorry, I should have. Sorry.
Lovely.
I don't have enough clothes on tonight because I was so
last night.
just a camisole with a see-through thing over, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, it's not that kind of show. Oh God. And there have been places that I have been that I will never go back to because the energy was so oppressive and the sadness. SpongeBob's got nothing on me in terms of my absorption level of energy. Right. And so I've been to places. I went to Penhurst Asylum.
I was going to say the same thing.
That's the place, yeah.
That got me.
Never going back.
Yeah.
Never going back. Don't want.
No, that was just so. It drained me. It's so depressing.
We heard and some legitimate EVPs that we
the responses that we got just broke my heart.
Yeah.
So.
Excuse me. The same is true for what was the other place? I can't remember. Oh my God, I can't remember the name of it. Oh my God, that's awful. All right, so like brain freeze. But anyway, talk about some of the experiences that you've had, and have there been places that you've gone that you will never go back to because of experiences that you had there?
I think I'd be absolutely happy never going back to the Hinsdale house.
Yeah.
I mean, we went a couple times, and it was okay, but it just.
The first time we went, the guy that we were with, him and I left her alone in the house for, I don't know,
they did.
45 minutes.
Oh, that's right. Julie, you couldn't come to that one either.
Yeah.
I'm going to get another text.
Yeah.
But that was, she went, did she go the second time? Yeah, she did go the second time. Yeah, that's just a creepy place. I don't have a good feeling about the energy there. It's not, some people go into places like, oh my God, it was terrifying. I wasn't terrified. It just was not a positive thing.
We haven't been terrified.
No.
We've been creeped out a few times.
Creeped out, definitely. And the Midway Hotel, I will never go back there.
Where is that?
Grand Midway Hotel
in Windmere,
Pennsylvania. Blair.
There's nothing else there.
I forget Blair's last name. He was one of the producers, screenwriters for Night of the Living Dead.
I don't know, one of them.
There
are a lot of dead animals in that house. Like
every room is themed to like a vampire room, Frankenstein room. Look at her face.
I didn't like it,
but it was something like, hey, let's go investigate this place. Yeah, bought a ton of taxidermy.
Yeah, I don't like taxidermy. I have a problem with that.
It's just he owns Anne Rice's entire doll collection, and he owns a church like a block or so up from where this hotel is.
He did.
And nobody wanted to go because I wanted to see him. So we walked in, and the entire church is just the whole collection is there, which is, if you don't like dolls, you're going to get creeped out. Which it was weird. It was fascinating. It was one of them looked real that he had right in a chair when he first walked in, and I'm like,
is that a real person? I think that would be the only two places.
Yeah. I'll go back to everywhere we've been.
Yeah.
I have come to the practice now at the end of the night. I'm usually the one walking back around all the location,
picking up all the
cameras and equipment by myself. I don't. There's things there. I don't know if they know you're alone. You're tired after investigating all those hours. I've now asked, okay, somebody's coming
with me. Yeah.
I'd have to, one of the weirdest, I mean, we've seen things, we've heard things, we've been touched, we've been, all the above. But the wild one, when we were in Savannah, Nikki, what was her name? Did this?
Folsom.
Nikki
Folsom.
Yes, I know Nikki.
Okay, she was doing a talk on, I think she was calling them white shadows or light
it's something
shadows,
like that, yeah,
instead of dark shadows.
Right.
And I was listening, and she got done with that, and everybody started exiting, and she's walking to the bathroom, and I'm like, "Excuse me," and Amy was right behind her.
So I was trying to track her down.
I don't mean to accost you going to the bathroom. And she's like, "Oh, be right back." And her and Amy came out together, and I said, "Listen, I saw something, and it was at Mid Orange County Correctional Facility in
somewhere in
Warwick, New York, or something. Went there a few years ago, and if anybody out there has been there, it's a huge complex, and they have a big, large main building. And on the third floor, I believe, second or third floor, it was originally one time like a religious area for the Catholics had one room, Protestants had one room.
And that's when it was a prison?
Yeah,
okay.
When it was prison. They had a room for Muslims and Hindu and all different kinds of religions.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go this way. 2 hallways, and on each end there's these huge rooms. And I'm sitting there. I was still at work. So I wasn't on this one because he was at work. We just flown in from London that morning,
right,
or that afternoon, and I took a couple hour nap and drove up with a rental car. I sat there, and as Pam was putting on, you take all the guests and go to a different room and stand there next to the doorway. I saw something walk through the double doorway on the far end of the hallway, and I could see through the legs, I could see the shoulder, I could see the head, and I immediately asked Pam, who's down there in that room? And we got up, walked down. There were 2 girls huddled in an alcove. Nobody there. There's really no light source per se. I come back, and as Nikki was doing her speech, this is probably one of the most profound things I've seen.
That you've seen, yeah.
When I walked down there, the thing was about 6 foot. So you know me, I'm like 6'3" if I stand up straight. So on the doorway, it's like 6 foot. And I told Nikki, I said, I saw that, but if you've seen the movie The Predator, when it camouflages and you can see through, she's like, that's exactly what I should be explaining. That's what she was trying to say. I saw something like that. Walk 2 steps and 2 steps. Clear as bell.
Well, and she has seen that too. Something to that effect.
That's exactly that.
That shared experience.
Chandelier glass thing. And that same night, in the same area, about 45 minutes later, I'm sitting down and Pam's in the hallway, and I don't see much. I usually am the one that hears things. This little black ball of dust comes out about 1 foot off the ground, and Pam's like, Shawn, are you seeing this? And I'm like, you tell me what you're seeing.
Yeah.
She's like, a little, like a dust ball, hovers down the hallway and then turns and goes, and we run down, and it was in a wall in between 2 doors. And so 2 people saw it what was happening. That's pretty wild.
When we were at College Hill Hospital on we were with Julie, and I can't remember what floor we were on, but we all saw the same type of dust thing, but I think she saw it black and we saw it white,
that's
or
something
vice
different,
versa.
like old school, not even old school. Let's talk about different experiences that most people say, oh, it was a dark shadow or darker than dark.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll get it wrong, but Julie saw black.
She either saw black and we
Amy
saw white.
And I saw white, but
or
we
vice
all
versa.
saw the smoke come out the door and come past us, but we both saw it at a different color.
Right. We perceived it in different, which is, I mean, to me, it's something like that's fascinating. These are the things I like to talk about because it's different.
Yeah.
And one more example is the light flashes. We never heard of anybody else until.
And where it first started,
Caricon, I think.
Hinsdale House.
Yeah. First time I saw
we were when the night that we left Amy alone, we were upstairs in the bedroom. There's 3 of us, and I saw this. For those that may not have, it's like the very end or beginning of a firework. That millisecond.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. We saw it. I saw it at the Hinsdale house. And I'm like, oh, maybe I'm having a stroke or something. I don't know. So I didn't say anything. And then another one came up over here and Amy saw it. And I didn't say, she's like, did anybody? I'm like, what did you see? And we saw it there. I saw it at Trans-Allegheny.
We both saw it at
Trans-Allegheny County.
Lunatic Asylum. Yeah.
Or a lunatic Tala. And we've seen it somewhere else. And then again, this is the last time we went to Michigan Paracon. Somebody was talking about this phenomenon.
Right.
And we both look at each other and like,
oh, somebody else has seen it.
Okay. Yeah. Somebody's talking about it. We're not just seeing.
Right.
Because no one else had mentioned it.
Right. We hadn't heard it in any other.
I don't remember who talked about it. And we haven't heard anybody mention it after.
Right.
And occasionally when we're doing an investigation with the public, someone will mention or will overhear somebody say something, and it's like, oh, we'll walk over and like, hey, what are you talking about? And they've had that experience.
Right.
But I think those are more galactic, more.
I was just, you read my
mind. I mean, I'm not saying spirit go. It's something.
Well, we don't know, do we?
No, I know. It's something different. It's something trying to come through. It's maybe we're doing enough that we're opening up on a different level, or we're looking for, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know me.
Well, I was doing an event with John Tenney in Michigan at O'Mara's wonderful old pub.
Yeah, we never got one of those.
He was talking about this experience that he had about something that came down the stairs and looked at him. And he described it, and he thought that he had seen a spirit. And I said, John, I think that was extraterrestrial.
Right.
And it just like clicked in his head. That's
right.
Didn't consider that. Now, but I look back now on all the experiences that I have had in my life. I don't know if I can distinguish, but what was extraterrestrial, what was spirit.
Right.
But isn't spirit extraterrestrial?
Well, exactly. Is it one and the same?
Right.
Is it? Yeah.
Is it one and the same? I mean, that still
Calling
shot of me. There looked like
right.
Yeah, it looked like a spirit standing behind me. I had vessels hovering around my head and had plunged my hand into a ball of energy that literally yanked me out of 3D, where I was translucent and you could see right through me.
Right.
I mean, that one screenshot.
It's crazy.
I mean, I got thousands of messages.
Oh, I'm sure.
Right.
And just that one screenshot, because nobody had ever seen anything like it before.
It's never been captured like that.
And that's what we want to do. We want to capture something that is so unique that it posits 100 more questions.
Right. And then let's talk about those questions. Yes.
Yeah.
Let's talk about those theories. Let's talk about those types of investigations. So
when we put our event together in Savannah, I really think that we should devote maybe a panel of people, Staffis and Tenney and us and you and discuss this.
Right.
Because there are manifestations. We think we're so smart, but we know nothing compared to what there is to know. No. And so we're really at a place now where we're explorers.
Right.
That's really what we are. We're explorers. And in a way, to be a paranormal investigator, you have to be rather fearless. Now, it doesn't mean that you won't be shaken every now and then, but you really have to be fearless. But like, the day of your nuptials, the renewals of your vows, I felt the energy, and it was love, 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 light, and more love.
Yes.
And it occurred to me, and I don't think I ever really talked to you about about that, but it occurred to me that that's the honey that will draw the flies.
Oh yeah.
See, and we've always said, and
Mm-hmm.
we go into these places not looking for the bad, the dark, the whatever,
Right.
with our positive
Right.
intent we've already talked about, and we seem to have experiences.
Right.
I think if you would just go into a place expecting positive things and happiness and butterflies and
Well,
love,
and just positive
you'll
communication.
you'll
absolutely.
actually get. We know of some kid with their negative Nellies, and they love them to death.
Yeah,
But if you don't have to, what?
In case they're watching.
Yeah, you don't have to provoke.
No, you don't. You don't have to.
No.
We don't
It's
provoke.
the worst
We have experiences. Now, you want to
It's
go down that road?
disrespectful to
It is.
provoke a spirit.
I mean,
don't
even
have-
when we go into
Jails
old
and-
jails and stuff.
We don't. We just don't. Maybe we're just the odd ones out that don't need to do it. We just.
Well, you don't know what somebody's circumstances were when they were in this realm.
Yeah.
You don't know that. So you can't go in and expect
Mm-hmm.
to be just a jerk about things. And
Right.
it's just not necessary.
Invent new ways to finding it. Positive intent.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Happy thoughts.
Yeah.
And let's reset this whole paranormal thing and
Let's
do it
reset.
again.
Let's hit the easy button and reset this.
Yeah. Yes.
Because it's time to
There, off my chest.
You feel better?
Yep. Do you feel better? Well, I don't know where
We're out of time already.
it went, but boom, it's gone. And Bill has given me the 2 minutes, so which is now 1.
Right.
So I want to thank you from the bottom of my
Thank you,
heart.
dear, so much.
We love
so
you and
much.
miss you.
I love you so much. We'll have coffee together, coffee talk in the morning.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Coffee talk.
Okay.
It was class
Thank
is dismissed.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.